So yes, we're working with the Angel Tarot cards. The card we have on the bottom of the deck here is the Queen of Air. This could be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius person. This is somebody who's very logical, very intelligent, very decisive. If she's done with you, she will cut you off, cut you out and cut you off. She sees things very clearly, very objectively. She's very logically minded, right? You know how some people are kind of emotional? She's more logical. Hopefully, we find balance, though, when we have both that come into play. We don't want to be too cold in our logic, but we don't want to be too irrational in our emotions either. But she's gazing into this, what looks like a crystal ball, to try to understand. You know, sometimes if we understand things in the present, we can kind of understand where things are going to and have that vision for what we need to do. Seven of Earth here is covering you. So this is kind of the environment that you're operating in, right? The card notes are seed well planted, temporary pause in action, and unnecessary worry. This is where something's growing, like imagine fruit on a vine. And wasn't Pisces the suit that I thought was pregnant last time? We were picking up on some serious pregnancy. So for some of you, that could be the case. You may be experiencing, that may be your first and foremost would be pregnancy. For others of you, it could be that you've been working on a project and you've done work on that, but you're kind of waiting to hear back, right? There's that temporary pause in action. Like we've planted some seeds. Now we're waiting for them to grow and to take hold. It's kind of like when you ship out your resume and then you're waiting to get your calls back, so there's that kind of energy there. Ace of Air is about truth, logic, knowledge, an idea, right? Seeing the truth in something, maybe having a challenging beginning. For some of you, if that was a pregnancy, for some of you, that could be that was difficult information to come in, right? That it was some kind of a challenge in dealing with that. Maybe you weren't ready for a baby. Maybe your relationship was kind of new. Maybe it was kind of a strain on your resources to try to figure out what you were going to do with that. I feel like whatever this is, there's some kind of information. If yours is not the pregnancy situation, then this is about information coming in that's going to help you be peaceful in your waiting. Because there's really good stuff coming on here, right? Like up here we have relationships, right? Trusting your intuition, caring for yourself and others. The Queen of Water, that could be you, Pisces. And queen does not have to be specifically male or female. That was dumb. Okay, a queen doesn't have to be a female. Let's put it that way. Queen can be male. It depends on the energy, though. Depends on the energy of the person. But certainly Pisces could be Cancer or Scorpio. Maybe you have a Queen of Water can also represent like a mother, a friend, somebody who's really good at adulting. So for some of you, it could be that you were seeking support from a female friend. For others of you, it could be that you're hoping to be that, right? If we kind of fall back into that pregnancy situation, that's what you're hoping to be, you're hoping to do, then again, it could be that your relationship, you're kind of thinking on those lines. This is somebody that I want to marry right now, right? If it's a project or a business, it could be that you want to be someone who really loves what you're doing and that you are loving what you're doing, right? Example, if you're a writer, you feel really inspired, really passionate, really spiritually contented and fulfilled in what you do. So you can be an accountant and still have love and passion for what it is that you do. Spiritual fulfillment, right? These kinds of energies in here. Again, the general reading. So take what whatever that word is. You know what it is. I keep want to say resignates, but that's weird. Okay. The wheel is comparable to the Wheel of Fortune. And this is definitely about positive change. And this is what's going on. Your situation is going to be moving forward. So even though we saw this temporary pause of action with the Seven of Earth, we need to remember, too, that Ace of Air, any of these air signs, that tends to be swift action, knowledge, information that comes in that enables you to act fast on something, things that you know. This also implies the divine hand, right? Archangel Michael is a really good one to call on when you're trying to figure out what your spiritual path is. He's also a good protector. Like if you ever feel unsafe, like you're under spiritual attack from somebody, maybe in the resentment or jealousies of you, that sort of thing. He's a really, really good one to help you fight that off. But the wheel is about fate, karma, divine intervention, right? There are certain things that you don't necessarily plan that are yours, that are coming to you and for you, because it's it's what you signed up for, right? If you can believe that, and there's many who believe that we sign up for our major life purposes when we're here. There's certain things that we will be doing. It's part of our life contract before we come here. Of course, free will can throw things out of whack and can delay things for us. But there are certain things that are going to happen for us because that's part of our divine contract. So take it as it resonates, take it or leave it. I don't know that from my earthly body, right? I can believe that that's the case sometimes. Sometimes it's helpful to think that way, right? Then again, for others, they may not think that to be the case. But either way, we certainly know that there are things behind the scenes that we don't always have anything to do with. And things can seem very random. It may not be random. It may just be that it took a while to manifest because there's a lot of players in things, a lot of moving parts that we may not have a direct involvement in, but that are indirectly related to our situation. Example, you can't start a new job without somebody else leaving it. But then the person leaving, they want to line up their next job. And that's going to take somebody leaving that job. So you see there's kind of a ripple effect. Now, in your recent past, there's a victory and good news, recognition or awards. This is success. This is victory, right? So you have been very successful at something. Maybe some public recognition of something that you're doing. Maybe you have a private business that you're starting up, or maybe people at work are noticing that you're doing a good job. So you're launching a project. And now you're waiting because there's certain things that need to happen for you to move on to the next step of your endeavor. And fate will take a hand, right? Because there's something that's going to happen in a positive way for you. Something that's happening for you. In your immediate future is the renewal card, which relates to the judgment card. And you do see the family here with the child. And you see the angel up ahead there. This is about learning a karmic lesson and having success and happiness as the outcome of that. Moving in a new direction even. A lot of this really is about new direction and change. Moving. Look, we got the 10 here and the 20 there. The 10, if you reduce that numerically, that's a 1. That's like self. The 2 being 2 people, right? But there's also the product of their love right there. So in the situation of the pregnancy, if you think about that, it may not have been what you were looking for. Fate has taken a hand in that. This child is meant to be born to you, and you're now waiting on that child. And it's your expectation to be a loving mother of this. This is about you leaving something, some past that might not have been all that you were hoping for it to be. And you didn't really recognize it until you found out you were pregnant. Until you saw yourself with a child in the future. And then recognized what that was all about. Right? Now we've got this card here, the Ace of Water. Ace of Water is about love. It's about the beginning of some new love. Again, this could be that falling in love piece. Maybe that's just kind of that understanding. The beginning of a new love could be baby. It could be relationship, a brand new relationship. Something along those lines. Maybe you're falling in love. That's why we're seeing the Queen of Water over there. And the Ace of Ace of Water. Ace of Water represents you. This is logic, truth, a new idea. And this is the beginning of something love-based. Love and spirit. Moving on to a new cycle. Ending one karmic cycle to begin something fresh. And this is about moving on, motion, literally taking a trip or moving to a new locale, moving to a new job, a change in your orientation mentally. Again, you're thinking about things in a very different way because you're onboarding this new love for something that you're having, that you're really blossoming into. You're the queen of water, not the page, not the knight, the queen of water, the one who can balance her emotions, understand and respect what they are, self-care, self-love, nurturing herself. Whatever you're doing, you're putting yourself first. This isn't about serving somebody else. This is about self-care, self-love, and the other people around you, that's up to them. But I feel like you're really in a place, you're not taking on somebody else's shit. You're really not. You're loving what you're doing, and you're loving this new orientation and this new movement. The Six of Air and the Ace of Air seem related to me. They're both about ideas, intellectual, technological, travel, communication, all in those domains right there. Don't forget we had the Queen of Air at the bottom of the deck. Your main suits that I'm seeing right now, although you got a good spread of each, really. You got some major arcana in there. But you've got this water over here. You got the Queen of Water and the Queen of Air. Isn't that like a Pisces? I mean, really it is. She's kind of the airiest of the water signs, or he. Pisces is good at getting along in really any situation he or she finds himself in. Again, air being intellect, water being spirit and love. Finding the balance of these two things. Like, I love you, but I don't need you. That's what this feels like. I love you, but I don't need you. I have my child on the way. I have my book that I'm writing. I have my business project that I'm developing. I don't need you. And yet, I love you. And if you're going to be in my life, great. But I don't need that to happen for me to be content and happy and fulfilled. It's an orientation, right? And it's a happy orientation. Now, your hopes and fears is about fast-moving energy, passions, communications, lots of things going on. I think there may be some kind of a fear of overwhelm here. That's kind of how I'm understanding this. There may be a fear of overwhelm because you do have a lot going on. You got a lot gestating, literally or figuratively. You got a lot gestating. You're very quick people, though. You're very quick. You also feel your feelings, though. You feel your feelings when you feel them. And sometimes that can be a bummer for you because you have to feel them before you can move on to the next thing. And we don't always have time to sit back and have a mental health retreat every time we shed a tear. We have to, life is just, it's bang, 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 bang. It's coming at us. And that can really suck. But here's the good news. Your future, now this is your hopes and fears, right? On the one hand, you want the information, you want the communication coming in, especially if this is about your business and you're doing something that involves a lot of customers, a lot of communication, a lot of emails, a lot of purchases, purchase orders, or whatever service provision you're doing in your business. You can want a lot of that kind of stuff coming in, but at the same time kind of say, hey, but I don't want to get overwhelmed here. This is your actual future outcome, which is balance. Balance is temperance. It's peaceful waiting. It's about being in a really, really good place. As I said before, your orientation is right on. You're that balance between air and water. You've had that end of a karmic cycle where you're in a really good place. It seems to be that you and your partner are in a good place of balance and renewal as well. Remember, this is a 2, and this is in your future. So it may be that, again, if this is the pregnancy situation, your partner's on board with you and being supportive and loving. Maybe not domineering and controlling over what you do, but supportive and loving and helping. And here, as you're peacefully waiting for what needs to happen, living in compromise, cooperation, perfect timing, kind of allowing things in their own pace. Because we don't have to be in a hurry. Like, things take as long as they take, right? But we don't have to be uncomfortable while we wait for that to take off either. We just don't have to be uncomfortable here. We can choose to be uncomfortable if we talk to ourselves in ways like, oh my God, this takes so long. What the fuck? This kind of stuff. We can make ourselves crazy. Like, however you think to go about it. We don't have to make ourselves go crazy. It really is a choice. And just the general feeling that I'm getting from you guys is that you really are in I almost feel like some of you may be surprised at yourselves and how well you're doing, given the randomness of everything. Because it feels like you're at a very random spot, but you're swimming like a little fish through all these waters. All the waters are weird that's coming at you. And you're really rising on top. You're coming out on top. You're the victor. Yours is the success of the situation. I gotta say, I'm proud of you guys. Yay! Yay! Wow. People blow me away. Like, they really do. People can be so unbelievably shitty sometimes, like really shitty. But then when you see somebody doing something amazing, it's like, wow, this is what human beings were created for. This is who we really are. This is what we can be, who we can be. We can be the queen of water crossed by the queen of air, walking in balance and renewal, allowing life on life's terms, and celebrating the uniqueness of it all. Gosh, this is inspiring. You guys are blowing me away right now a little bit here. Not a little bit, more than a little bit. I know that there's so much... humans have amazing, amazing potential. And yet, while it doesn't surprise me, I still feel so uplifted and inspired when I see it. Or in this case, feel it. Because I don't honestly know who some of you are. Probably most of you. I don't know who you are literally, but... All right, let's see. Now, I'm shuffling here some Healing with the Angels Oracle cards. Let me show you the box. Some of you guys may be interested in that. Also, Doreen Virtue, just like the cards are by Doreen Virtue, although she's with Radley Valentine on the cards. But signs. I kind of wanted to do like a dun 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 sound, but I gotta tell you, my inner silly is coming back, and I am so glad I have missed it. All right, so we got signs. Card meaning. Pay careful attention to the messages the angels give you now. You have asked for a sign and they deliver it. Notice and trust these signs. You've asked for heaven to help you. Now it's up to you to pay attention to the evidence of their help. This card signifies that your angels are trying to get your attention with signs. They might ask a butterfly or a bird to fly near you. Or they might compel you to hear a song several times. They might put an object in your path so that you have to notice it. Drawing this card is also a sign from your angels. They are trying to get through. Please notice. You can ask your angels to give you a sign whenever you have a question or a decision to make. Usually it's not a good idea to specify what type of sign you'd like. Leave that up to the angels. They're very good at making their presence known. Now, on that note, I will say, like, when I'm asking for a sign or for some help or something, I'll tell them, I'll say it just like this. I'll be like, God, you know that I'm a dumbass, so please make it obvious. Don't hit me on the head with a 2x4, but make it blaringly obvious, preferably in threes. Now, once my curiosity is up, unless it's a bird doing something completely random, or an animal or something doing something completely and totally random. Like if I see things in threes, even at twos, I'm raising a question mark or an eyebrow or so. But 3 times, bam, you know there's something more that's going on. So pay attention to those kinds of things. Maybe you get goosebumps when you experience your sign. There could be other things like that can help you. To identify what those are. But chances are, if you're asking yourself, is this a sign? It probably is. right? It probably is. At least if they're helping you and that they're behind the scenes rooting for you and so on. Remember, however, we have free will. So don't surrender your free will to random superstitious behavior. But you always want to be sure that you're weighing your choices, your options for your best outcome. Because they can't answer that for you, right? They can reveal to you your best options, but they're never going to tell you what it is that you need to do. Now, the spirits of deceased relatives, they certainly can, because they're not necessarily any more evolved after they've passed on than they were before they went. So you can still get, Aunt Ida or whoever with her attitude adjustment disorder. I made that up. There is no such thing. But you know what I'm saying? Maybe she needs an attitude adjustment, but she likes to still give you what for from the other side. So, just take it with a grain of salt, whatever it is, right? But the angels, now they're a whole different ball of wax. They don't have ego the way that we have. Human ego, man, oh man, it keeps us from life and death and toxic situations, but it doesn't always help us. So a lot of times our ego gets in the way. Gets in the way of our healing and our best choices. We second guess. We get all racy thoughts in our head. We get anxiety, all the rest of the crap that goes with being a human. But, angels are different. They don't have all of that to get in the way. They don't want to keep us down, and they don't have that attitude problem.